over $1 billion combined, sold-out stadiums, an $88 million Bel Air mansion, and one of the most immaculate public images ever constructed in the history of music. But here's what nobody told you. Behind the Grammys, the matching outfits, and the power couple brand is a trail of lawsuits, infidelity admissions, whisper campaigns, and secrets the Carters have worked very hard to keep buried. Before we dive in, if you've ever felt like the celebrity stories you're being sold are just a little too perfect, hit subscribe right now. We cover the things mainstream media won't. And drop a comment below telling us, do you think the Carters are misunderstood? Or just very, very good at controlling the narrative? These are 15 deceptive secrets about Beyonce and Jay-z that the world is only now beginning to understand. Let's unbury them. Secret number 1. He met her when she was a teenager. Let's start with something that has quietly made people uncomfortable for years. According to Jay-z himself, during a 2007 interview with Charlie Rose, he met Beyoncé around 10 years prior, which would place their first meeting in 1997, when she was approximately 16 years old and he was 28. That is a 12-year age gap. Now, Beyoncé has said in interviews that she was 18 when they officially met and 19 when things turned romantic. But the story keeps changing. Multiple photographs show the two together on different occasions in 1998, when Beyoncé was only 16 years old, and the inconsistencies in the official timeline have never been fully explained. For a couple who has built their brand on honesty and authenticity, this is a question that has never received a straight answer. Secret number 2. The Destiny's Child purge was more ruthless than you know. Beyoncé has been celebrated as a self-made icon, but the truth about how she rose to the top has some very uncomfortable chapters. The original Destiny's Child was plagued by internal conflict and legal turmoil, as members Latavia Robertson and LaToya Luckett attempted to split from the group's manager, Matthew Knowles, due to his favoritism of Beyoncé and Roland. And that favoritism was no small thing. In the biography Becoming Beyoncé, author J. Randy Taraborelli notes that Matthew favored his daughter over the other 3 members. She booked more appearances and got paid more. While Beyoncé bought a Jaguar, LaToya reportedly couldn't even afford to pay her cell phone bill. These were girls who had been friends since childhood, grinding together for years. And they were left behind while one family cashed in. The music industry calls it business. Most people would call it betrayal. Secret number 3. 2 former members found out they were fired. From a music video. You think getting a text message firing is bad? Imagine discovering you've been replaced in your own group by watching a music video on television. The shock departure of Latavia Robertson and LaToya Luckett sparked media speculation that the group's rift centered on infighting, jealousy, and behind-the-scenes favoritism of Beyoncé. The women who had spent their childhoods rehearsing, performing, and sacrificing for Destiny's Child learned their fate not through a conversation, but through a public announcement. That is not a falling out. That is a calculated erasure. Secret number 4. Matthew Knowles was running a one-woman show the whole time. Beyoncé's father didn't just manage Destiny's Child. He engineered the entire operation around his daughter. Whispers about Beyoncé's dad, group manager Matthew Knowles, described a man allegedly so controlling that the group functioned entirely around his preferences. He drilled the girls into exhaustion with summer boot camps of dance and vocal training, controlled who they dated, and reportedly pushed them so hard they sometimes broke down in tears. The industry loved the product. Few people asked about the cost, and when the girls who weren't his daughter stopped being useful, they were removed, settlement papers in hand, and a silence agreement attached. Secret number 5. Jay-Z was a drug dealer. Before he was a rapper, Jay-Z is now a billionaire businessman, a co-owner of streaming platforms, and one of the most respected names in entertainment. But before all of that, he was deep in the streets. He has rapped about it openly, selling crack cocaine in the Marcy projects of Brooklyn, and written about it in his book, Decoded. He has described watching friends die, carrying weapons, and operating in the kind of environment where prison or death were the most likely outcomes. He made it out. Most people from his world didn't. That street background is part of what makes his story compelling, but it also raises questions about what other habits or associations from that era followed him into the boardrooms of Hollywood. A question that becomes more pointed with every new headline. Secret number 6. Jay-Z publicly admitted he cheated on Beyoncé. This is not a rumor. This is a confession, following claims that Jay-Z had secretly fathered a love child years earlier and also stepped out on Beyoncé during their marriage. In 2017, Jay-Z admitted he had cheated on Bey. The admission came after years of coded lyrics, public speculation, and the release of Beyoncé's 2016 album Lemonade, widely understood as a raw, devastated response to his infidelity. Songs like Sorry and references to Becky with the good hair sent the internet into a frenzy, with fans pointing fingers at everyone from designer Rachel Roy to singer Rita Ora. Both denied it, but Jay-Z's own admission confirmed the core of it. The golden couple was broken, and Beyoncé chose to stay. Secret number 7. The rules. She reportedly gave him after the cheating. When you cheat on someone and get caught, there are consequences. After Jay-Z openly admitted to cheating on Beyoncé, the singer surprisingly managed to forgive him and work on their marriage. But that reportedly took a lot of effort on the rapper's end, as he was handed a set of rules to follow. Among the conditions reportedly imposed, no one-on-one meetings with female artists, full transparency about schedules, and a dramatic reduction in time spent at late-night industry events. Think about that. One of the most powerful men in music, a man who ran Def Jam Records, who founded Roc Nation, who has championed himself as a self-made king, was reportedly answering to a rule book. What does that tell you about what actually happened behind closed doors? Secret number 8. Solange's elevator attack on Jay-Z was never fully explained. One of the most jaw-dropping celebrity moments of the last decade happened in 2014, when footage emerged of Beyoncé's sister, Solange Knowles, physically attacking Jay-Z in an elevator at the Met Gala, while Beyoncé stood perfectly still and watched. The brawl between Solange and Jay after the Met Gala in 2014 went down as one of the juiciest celebrity fights in history. Fans were shocked to see footage of Solange lunging at Jay, while Beyoncé watched on. The family issued a vague statement days later, saying both parties had resolved their issues. That was it. No real explanation. No context. Just silence. But observers widely interpreted Solange's rage as a response to Jay-Z's infidelity. A big sister protecting her little sister, while Beyoncé, ever the professional, stood composed and said nothing. The couple's ability to control the narrative is remarkable. What happened in that elevator was never truly answered. Secret number 9. The surrogacy rumors about Blue Ivy. No sooner had Beyoncé confirmed her first pregnancy with a very public reveal on stage at the 2011 VMAs than she became the subject of rumors that she was faking her bump. The firestorm started when Beyoncé did a chat with an Australian television show, and her bump appeared to fold as she sat down. She dismissed the surrogacy claims as just crazy. And maybe they were. But the story refuses to die. Fans have continued to scrutinize photographs, timelines, and her physical appearance throughout the pregnancy, with some continuing to argue the dates don't add up. Beyoncé has never addressed the speculation in any detail. For someone who built an entire visual album about openness and vulnerability, her silence on this particular subject has always been deafening. Secret number 10. Their ties to Diddy and the discomfort that followed. When federal authorities arrested Sean Diddy Combs on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy, the entertainment industry held its breath, and the Carters held theirs too. According to sources close to the couple, the duo was stressed over the possibility that their names could be mentioned in court, despite not being accused of any criminal acts. Obviously, they were living in the same world as Diddy for a long time, an insider noted, so they could be mentioned. Not that they did anything wrong. They didn't, but they really don't want their names associated with the trial. Beyoncé attended Diddy's famous white parties. Jay-z and Diddy had a professional and personal relationship going back decades. The photos are everywhere. The question being asked around the world is simple. How much did anyone in that circle really know? And when did they know it? Secret number 11. A bombshell rape allegation that shook everything. In December 2024, a lawsuit dropped that nobody in the Carter camp was prepared for. An accuser identified anonymously as Jane Doe refiled a sexual assault civil lawsuit originally filed against Sean Diddy Combs, this time adding Jay-z as an additional defendant. The Alabama woman alleged that Jay-z and Diddy sexually assaulted her in 2000 at a New York after-party for the MTV Video Music Awards when she was 13 years old. Jay-z categorically denied the allegations, calling them heinous and describing the lawsuit as a blackmail attempt. No criminal charges were filed, but the shockwaves were immediate, global, and devastating. Jay-z said his only heartbreak was how Beyoncé and their kids would be impacted by the controversy, stating, "My wife and I will have to sit our children down and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Secret number 12. They reportedly monitor the news. Every single day behind the billion-dollar empire and the carefully curated Instagram grid is a couple reportedly living in a constant state of anxious surveillance. According to insiders, they check news updates daily, holding their breath with every headline. It's something they do every day, just checking the news to see if they're mentioned and in what context, said an insider. That is not the behavior of two people at peace. That is the behavior of two people who know enough about the world they operate in to be afraid of what might surface next. Power comes with exposure, and the Carters, it seems, are very aware of that. Secret number 13. Beyoncé was seen celebrating with a man facing sex trafficking allegations. The hypocrisy accusations came fast. The Dream, a long-time collaborator of Beyoncé's, was arrested in 2014 after allegedly assaulting his then-pregnant ex-girlfriend, and now faces a civil lawsuit filed in 2024, accusing him of rape and sex trafficking involving one of his protégés. When footage surfaced of Beyoncé and Jay-z openly celebrating with him, the internet erupted. What made the incident more controversial was Beyoncé's own previously reported stance on carefully vetting the individuals she works with. Back in 2022, it was claimed she was ensuring no collaborators had histories of abuse, racism, or homophobia before associating with them. That claim now looks, to many, like brand protection rather than principle. Secret number 14. Some people say Their marriage is more business than romance. Is the world's most famous love story actually a corporate arrangement? The speculation has existed for years, but it has grown louder as the controversies have mounted. Some observers argue that the couple's relationship is more business-oriented than romantic, drawing parallels to other celebrity couples who maintain less traditional models of partnership. They're no different than Will and Jada. They're a business more than a marriage, one commentator observed. Consider the timing of their joint albums, the perfectly staged public appearances after each crisis, the coordinated silences. Every move looks less like love and more like a brand management strategy executed by two very smart people. Is true or exaggerated? The broader question it raises is this: how much of the Beyoncé phenomenon is organic, and how much of it has been manufactured, purchased, protected, and engineered by teams of people whose job is to keep the myth alive? Every Grammy nomination, every coordinated release, every carefully controlled interview, it is all part of a machine. And machines, no matter how powerful, eventually show their parts. Beyoncé and Jay-z are, without question, two of the most talented entertainers of their generation. Nothing you heard today changes that. But talent doesn't make anyone immune to scrutiny. And the public deserves to see the full picture, not just the one cleared by a publicist. The question was never whether the Carters are good at what they do. The question is, what else are they good at? If this hit different, drop a comment below. We want to know which secret shocked you most. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is the time, because the industry secrets we've got coming will make this look like the warm-up.